introduce, that is what is difference between the meta character and array construct. And I hope you understood the difference between the meta character and constructor. Next important, we learned two techniques here. How array is declared, and declaration is not enough. We need to initialize memory for the array, and how memory is initialized, and what is difference. So which one is good according to the situation we need to decide. So generally, array can be defined with the size, but if there is no use of defining size for array here, because already we know that array size can be changed dynamically. So dynamically you can restrict the array size by writing a logic, but without that you cannot restrict array values, right? You have to write explicitly a logic, because even you define the size, its size can be changed dynamically. That's the reason no use of defining the size. So you say 2, it can store more than 2 also. Dynamically it can adjust the memory, so no use. Then explicitly we have to write a logic saying that if it is more than 2, don't allow to store values. If it is not more than 2, then allow to store values. Explicitly we have to write logic that we will see how we can manage that. But these are the two important things: declaring array and initializing memory. Now, next important is how the values are stored into array. This is also a key point. That means next point, storing values into array. How we can store values into array? What are the various methods of storing values into array? Actually, how we can store value into an array? Generally, storing value into an array, array when memory is allocated, technically, I will show you one point. Actually, when memory is allocated for array, it will have this technique. That means, see, yeah. First point, you have to know that array is allocated with the memory. Array is allocated with the memory by using meta character or array constructor. That point is clear. Array is allocated with memory by using meta character or constructor. That is fine. Okay. Second point is values are stored into array. Values are stored into array by using the reference of array properties. The values are stored into array by using the reference of array properties. Actually, values are stored into array by using the reference of array properties. Remember, values are accessed from array by using those properties. Values are stored into array by using the reference of array properties, and values are accessed from array by using those properties, simply I will say. You may be wondering, like, what is these properties? Because from many years, generally, developers who are dealing with technologies, many terms are in such a way that they are misguided with the technologies. That means many times they are misusing the terms. We don't know why they are misusing the terms, because they are following from somebody. They are following from somebody, and that somebody is not the person who developed it, right? Due to that, the hierarchical concept became in such a way that finally people started saying that in a different way, but actually it is different. So we cannot blame on anyone, because you are a developer. So then the point here is, from where you learned about that concept is important. Have you learned from the person who developed it, or you learned from somebody who haven't developed it but he is training on you? He's training you about that. That means who will tell you correct information about it? So the person who built it, he know about it. Due to this, what happens is many terms in the technologies are misused, and they are morphed, and our developers are following the same. So even you are 10 years experienced developer, we know that many of the terms that you use are not exactly what architecturally they are correct. For example, I will show you. For example, see, generally anybody knows about arrays in general programming, whether it is Java, .NET or something. So here, memory is allocated for array. That means we say let some x is an string type. It is a string type. So it is a string type. That means we are allocating a string type. Okay, let's say it is a string type array. And we are initializing the memory for it by using array constructor or meta character. Now what happens is the memory is allocated for this. The memory is allocated for this. The memory is allocated for this x. And in the memory, now the values need to be stored. See, inside memory, how the values are stored. So for this array, it will allocate multiple references. It will allocate multiple references. In the memory, they are accessed defined by using the index number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like this, the index number. In the memory, they are as index number. But a developer cannot use this memory index directly actually. Developer is he is not using the memory index directly. Actually, the memory references are provided to a programmer in the form of a property. 0 is a property. 1 is a property. And remember, the properties are string type. You need to know that the properties are string type. Another important point, you should know that the property names are the same names as index numbers. The property names are same names as index numbers. So due to that, a developer thinks that he is using index number to access. But actually not. He's not using index number to access. He's using property to access. I will show you. Let's prove this concept to prove everybody as wrong in their assumption about array, right? Let's prove this concept, because we cannot simply say without proof, right? Without proving that, right? Because if you tell like this, many people say, I am 10 years experienced developer. From 20 years, I am working as a developer. You are telling something new today about array. Not new, that is correctly about array. Only the point is you are 10 years developer. I don't care, because you are not architecturally great. You don't know everything architecturally, how it is built in a language. Then even 10 years you work for